Boxingego here. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon on the top of your screen to get notified when the latest new content drops. 1. Former Golden Boy employee Richard Schaefer says Dazn could end up regretting giving Canelo so much money. Stay tuned. What up, fight world? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. If you want to become part of the gang, notification gang, please hit the bell icon. Shout out to the super chats, channel donations, the Venmo donations, and the Patreon family. We working. Now, I just seen an interview. Shout out to DBN. The link is in the description. He has the video on his page. And Richard Schaefer was, for Wilder Fury Fight Week, he was doing an interview or whatnot. And he says that Dazn, I'm just going to paraphrase, he says Dazn in the end could end up regretting giving Canelo so much money, and he explains why. He says, basically, let's say Canelo versus Triple G, part 2, it did 1 million pay-per-view buys, 1 million homes, a little bit over that, right? And he's fighting Rocky Fielding next, so how many homes will he have to do to the point where it justifies him getting that type of money, that they're offering him for 5 years, 10 or 11 fights. And I think what he's saying is a very solid point. You know why? Because I said the same thing. Now, listen, we live in such a pussy-ass society where people, they want to misconstrue. Instead of listening to what's being said, analyzing it, see if it makes sense, they want to say, like, if someone's not, like, getting on their hands and knees and bowing down, or, nonstop praise and coddling, sugarcoating, if they have real life statements, real life questions, people want to act as if it's hate. Like, oh, he's just hating on Canelo. Oh, he just doesn't want to see Canelo win, which is what they said when I said the same exact thing. But the funny thing is, you notice you have people in the industry, respected businessmen, in boxing that promote boxing. You have trainers, fighters. They're saying what I'm saying on my channel, and they say it after me. I told you guys the same thing with Canelo. I like Canelo. I think he's a good fighter. His deal is an excellent deal from what I could see for him. But it remains to be seen for the boxing fans what that's going to do. And I explained why in my previous videos when I first heard about it. When I first heard and read about the deal, it's all the way around. It's great for boxing to know that people are putting so much money and effort and emphasis to the point where they're going to pay a fighter that much. I do like that. That's a great thing. But it remains to be seen if this blows up Dazn as a result, and or we get the fights that we desire as fans because of this. That's what remains to be seen, because this is a business. You have to understand, a business is an investment. Somebody came up with this money or is coming up with this money to give this proper paycheck to Canelo. So are they going to match him really lightly, for the first couple of fights to hope, to keep his stock high and stuff, and hope he's not in any kind of controversial wins or worse, a loss? Or are they going to match him right? Another point that Richard Schaefer brought up is he basically kind of alluded to they might want out of the deal, not where it doesn't go through with the full 5 years, depending on, I guess, their regrets. That's what I kind of interpreted, but you guys can interpret that aspect of the interview. But he said something to the fact of, yeah, they say they're going to pay him this and that much, but he basically insinuated that he wants to see if they see it through to the end, if they're losing money. But, I think this is a realistic concern, and it's a realistic angle regarding Canelo. Again, I'm happy Canelo's getting a bag, getting a lot of money. I really am. But from a business standpoint, does this help Dazn? And it really depends. And Richard Schaefer said almost the exact same example that I got. You got to really look at it. Instead of just saying somebody's hating for no reason, look at what's being said. Listen, and analyze it and interpret it. The thing is this. Golovkin versus Canelo the second fight did less viewership wise. Like, it did over 1 million, but it still did less than the first Canelo-Golovkin fight, which is concerning because typically if there's controversy in the first fight, you'll see more eyes on the second fight because they don't want to miss, you know, more controversy, more drama, and or just a good fight because the bad blood and the build up and all that shit, right? I.e. Mayweather-Maidana 2 did better, you know, financially than Mayweather-Maidana 1 because Mayweather-Maidana 1, a lot of people, not me, and I even said that on my video, they were under the impression that Maidana was going to just easily get outboxed and, you know, be no match for Floyd and not put up a good scrap. But when people seen that he put up a good scrap, it drew interest for the second fight. So typically that's what you see, especially if there's controversy. Canelo-Golovkin 1 to 2, there was a lot of controversy, a lot of drama. Adelaide Burst scorecard, that had a lot of controversy behind it. And then also the failed drug test and, you know, Triple G saying, hey, no, guys, he said he's seen needle marks and, you know, the clenbuterol scandal, Clen, the first fight being announced and then denounced and canceled and Canelo withdrew. There was a lot going on there, you know, and it did less in terms of, it was just all around less successful. So now if Canelo's fighting a Rocky Fielding, you know, does this boost up Dazn to the point where it justifies giving Canelo $20 to $32 million a fight? You know, people like Eddie Hearns keep saying that pay-per-view is dead, but if you really think about it, I'm not talking about from the fan standpoint. That's great that Canelo's off pay-per-view, but it also, from a business standpoint, it keeps the fighters honest. You get what I'm saying? It keeps the fighters honest. Here's how. If Canelo were to fight Rocky Fielding and they put it on pay-per-view, I would surmise that the pay-per-view numbers wouldn't be great. But if you're already getting guaranteed money no matter who you fight, then you don't have to go above and beyond to promote the fight. You don't have to do anything because you're already getting whatever amount of money, if that makes any sense to you. So, you know, we'll see with Golden Boy and Canelo, how they play this. Canelo already has a lot of secure money, a lot of guaranteed money. So we'll see what happens. But I definitely have some questions, and there's been some eyebrows raised. The same thing that Richard Schaefer, who used to work with Oscar De La Hoya and Golden Boy, is saying. Those are the same things that I said to you. Same concerns that to this day I still have. Is what are we going to get? And if Canelo versus Triple G, he says, Richard Schaefer even says, the third fight is arguably or probably the biggest fight for Canelo outside of maybe Floyd Mayweather. But Floyd, that's not going to happen, you know, because Floyd is not going to let Canelo, a guy he thoroughly beat, dictate any terms. So why would he come up to 160 and give the youthful guy a massive weight advantage when the first fight was at a catch weight? You know, years have passed and he dog walked Canelo in the first fight. Makes no sense. Plus, why would Floyd go fight on the app and abandon Showtime, you know, and come up to Canelo's weight? You know, just all around, it lets me believe that he's talking about fighting a kickboxer. Lets me believe that, you know, the Mayweather-Canelo saga is done. Like, it's not going to happen. Canelo's not the A side. He thoroughly lost. So, you know, if anything, and Canelo already said recently he's not fighting below 160 to rematch Mayweather. So you can't call those types of shots when you lost virtually every round in the fight. So with that being said, there's going to be a stalemate there. I don't see how they would agree just on the weight. You know, 41-year-old Floyd is probably not going to move up to 160, you know, being inactive, his only fight being a Conor McGregor fight in the last 3-4 years or whatever. And Canelo saying he's not going below 160, yet he lost convincingly in the first fight, has no jurisdiction or A-side advantage over Floyd. So it's not going to happen. So what Richard Schaefer is saying is true. The biggest fight out there financially is likely Golovkin. There's other great fights that me and a lot of people would rather see. I'm not saying that. I'm just talking about financially. You know, that's probably the biggest fight for him. So, you know, with Canelo getting, I don't even want to see the Canelo Triple G3 fight immediately. They could fight later on, but I have no urgency to see it. So to me, it sounds like Dazn is in a situation where they probably overpaid Canelo. You get what I'm saying? In their desperation to land the big star, HBO folded. They seen the opportunity. They had the money since, Eddie Hearns. It's not like he was able to sign anyone, huge that he didn't already have, to the point where they still had a lot of budget. So they just threw it at Canelo, But in the end, we'll see. We'll see what fights. But if Canelo fights Rocky Fielding and then drops down to 160 and fights David Lemieux, then that will be back-to-back fights where if Canelo's getting 32 mil a pop or whatever each time, 36.5 mil, or whatever it is, anything close to that, then they have overpaid him, because those fights, had they been on pay-per-view, wouldn't generate enough money to justify giving him. That's why it says pay-per-view, it keeps the fighter and that campaign and that promotional outfit honest, because if it's a bogus fight, it's going to do bogus numbers, and they won't have the back-end money to support or justify paying someone that amount. You get what I'm saying? Like, let's say Broner fought against, I'm just trying to think of a random, like Broner versus Chris Algieri. That wouldn't be a Showtime pay-per-view. So to me, the numbers would suffer. It wouldn't be, because who's going to pay pay-per-view to watch Broner versus Chris Algieri as the main event? It wouldn't hold up. You get what I'm saying? So if Broner was getting $36 million no matter what, then they would have overpaid him, because there's no way you could tell me that Broner versus Chris Algieri at this point would generate that much money to the point where he would comfortably get 36.5 million plus your licensing fees, the networks eating and everybody's eating. It wouldn't make sense. And that's what we're talking about with the Canelo situation. Us being me and Richard Schaefer. Canelo versus Rocky Fielding. If that was on pay-per-view, it's probably going to be no greater than Amir Khan, Liam Smith pay-per-views, if not worse. You get what I'm saying? Because Rocky Fielding probably has a lesser name in the States than Amir Khan. So if that's the case, Dazn's going to have to be able to justify giving Canelo that much money for fights like that. But hey, this is their money. Fight fans get to watch Canelo for a smaller fee, so we'll see how this plays out. But I just wanted to follow up and touch on what Richard Schaefer says, since it was basically what I was saying, and strength in numbers. Let me know what you guys think. Canelo Fielding's coming up. It's just popping in boxing. Make sure you smash the like button as always. Hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video, is Ego signing off. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxingego, the future of boxing.